my shoulder. And that gives me the cutting angle. Okay? Good. So what's happening now is I'll end up creating loads of texture inside the shape, but I'll maintain some weight on the external shape. Okay? Remember, the internal shape is the shape within the outline. The external shape is the shape of the outline. I've got a question for you. Ready? Yeah, baby. Ready, Johnny? Give it to me. Okay, dude. Right, so, that was my American accent, by the way.
Really good.
It's poor, isn't it? Sounds Jamaican. Okay. I'm Greek, by the way, if anyone wanted to know. Right. So my question to you guys, and it's a bit of a trick question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. The question is, what is a one-length haircut? Heavy form of graduation, good. But is it? It's a round haircut. Okay, that's good, kind of. We're going to come back to that. So, in principle, the idea of a one-length haircut is that it's a round layer. Is that correct? Because it's all the same length. Do we agree? Agree if you put your hand up if you agree. Or don't even get involved, just sit there. Up to you. Okay, if you think it's right, the answer is actually wrong. Okay? I'll explain to you why. The reason why a one-length haircut is not just a round layer, because the reality is, because of the head shape, where the indentations are, the lengths will be longer. Okay? So it will never really truly be one length unless it's completely bald and then it just grows out. To cut a pure one length, in my opinion, is impossible unless you skin the head and let it grow. Because there's so many indentations and variables that actually a pure one length only works if you're growing out a skinhead. Okay? Right, my next zone, which is my last zone, which is around the crown. What I'll do is I'll work vertical sections working around the back of that zone on the base with a round cutting, but I'm going to keep it quite long, okay? So I'm literally just going to take the tips off it to make it nice and smooth, right? If I play to the camera. So let me ask you a question. Let's imagine we've got that one length shape. Okay, a pure one length. What would the external shape of a pure one length be? Bit of a mind game there, isn't it? It would be round, okay. Who else wants to have a guess? So I'll ask the question again. Think really carefully, yeah? A pure one length shape. Externally, what shape would it be? Square, round?
Shape of the hairline?
Boom. It would be the shape of the hairline, wouldn't it? Digest that for a moment. Because when I was trying to think, I was like, just think about, as the hair grows out, the exterior shape will represent the hairline. Yeah? And once you start thinking about hair in that kind of detail, which is what the primary shapes is designed to do, that's the whole point of it, to make you think about why things are happening. What's the one thing every hairdresser wants, apart from a drink? What's the one thing every single hairdresser wants?
2 drinks.
2 drinks. And a bottle of vodka. The one thing that every single hairdresser wants is to be in control of what they're doing, is to be confident in their ability, is to be able to express themselves through their medium, which is hair. They want to be able to understand what they're doing and be in control of what they're doing. Now I'm going to make a statement here, and it's up to you how you take it, but it's a simple statement, and it's one I was telling Wayne before. Allilon is for everybody, but it's not for everybody.
Took me a minute.
Okay? It's for everybody. Everybody has access to it, but some of you won't like it because you have to think. It's not a course where you come on and we go, oh, that is oh my God, that is fantastic, great, well done, brilliant, well done. There you go, there's a diploma. Thanks for your cash, I'll see you later, yeah? That is not how Allilon works. So if you're going to start the Allilon journey, I would say two things to you. One, be prepared to be challenged. Two, be prepared to grow. Three, be prepared to study. Because if your mind understands, your hand understands. And one of the things that we do as hairdressers
And pilots.
is we avoid what we're scared of. Okay? And not every hairdresser loves academia. I don't love academia. I don't sit there and read loads of books and, you know. But the only way we're going to truly master our craft is to understand it in its purest form. Okay? So that's the goal. If you want to be challenged, if you want to think outside the box, if you want to understand what you're doing all the time, start the Allilon journey. Okay, so I'm going to wrap dry the top. Now when wrap drying, try and allow the air to circulate. So if you notice my hair dryer, I'm really moving it. My wrist, I've got really, I'm moving my wrist loads, yeah? So I've got loads and loads and loads of a loose approach so the air circulates, okay? I'm not worried about too much product because I've already used my cutting lotions and my milk. So that's given me the smooth finish. All I have to do now is basically guide my airflow to run down the cuticle, okay? And a good way to think about wrap drying is to think of it like a clock, okay? So 12 o'clock being, let's say, the front fringe, 6 o'clock being the nape in the back, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, okay? And what we're doing is we're drying the hair from 6 to 9, from 9 to 6, from 9 to 12, from 12 to 9. And we keep doing the same motions, and the ideal scenario here would be not to do this, which is what a lot of people do. This motion here ends up making all the hair flick out. So think of it like, think of it a bit like the brush is constantly hugging the head. So don't take the bristles off the head. Really kind of stretch the hair, okay? Wrap it really well. Now before, something that Mark said was really interesting. Mark, wasn't it? Mark said, when I asked him about how he would describe over direction, what did he say to me? He said, can I show you? I prefer to show you, and then that will help me explain it, yeah? When it comes to hairdressing, as we know, hairdressers are very visual people, aren't we? So let me tell you a little trick to help your young hairdresser, your little Johnny, to help him understand how wrap drying works, okay? So try and imagine this. Try and imagine a really big field, okay? Big open space. And right in the middle of the field there's one flower sticking up like that, okay? And the wind is blowing the flower from side to side, backwards and forwards, side to side. After a while, the root of the flower will go, I can't take it anymore, and it will do that. Yeah? The stem will stay straight, but the root will collapse. Wrap drying works with the same principle. Okay? The more you basically move the hair from side to side, back and forward, left and right, the more the root will collapse. By focusing on the roots, the haircut will do all the work for you. Okay? So that's the key. Get the root to do what you need it to do, and the rest of the haircut will sort itself out. Okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to iron that length. I'm going to go through and I'm going to soften it through. Can anybody tell me what alpha and beta keratin is? Okay? So,
Love you guys, you know that.
love you all. So I'm going to tell you what alpha and beta keratin is. So alpha and beta keratin represents the journey in which hair has to go through to become set and unset. Okay? So let's say we washed someone's hair and we combed it and then left it alone. Didn't touch it. Whatever the shape would be naturally to that hair, the hair would be in an alpha keratin state. As soon as you apply any kind of heat, any kind of manipulation of the hair, as soon as you start to mold the hair in any way, shape or form, that hair is now in a beta keratin state. As soon as you then apply moisture back into the hair through humidity or with water, all you're doing is allowing the hair to revert back into an alpha keratin state. Okay? Now, another good way of explaining that to little Johnny is to draw him another picture. So let me give you that picture. Okay? Because all these little stories will help you share what I'm trying to show you tonight. Okay? Think about, I like to describe it, I'd describe it a little bit different than some of my team, but I like to describe it as like an ice sculptor.
Not a lot of ice sculptors in San Diego, I don't think.
Yeah. So, think of it, the ice sculptor, he's got this big block of ice, okay? And it's in the freezer and it's set, it's hard. He brings it out into the heat. He then gets his tools and he starts to manipulate and mould the shape. In order for that shape to stay the way it is, he has to then put it back in the freezer. Hair works with the same principle. We take it, we heat it up, we manipulate it with our tools, and then we place it to cool down. How we let it cool down is how it sets. So again, using stories helps people visualize what you're saying with your words. Okay? So that's a good little trick to, again, teach little Johnny. Okay? I'm coming towards the end of my haircut now, guys. I'm literally just going through each zone, and I'm removing some of the density to my cutting lines. That way, my shape can move really nicely. So when I get some product and run some product through it, the hair will basically come alive and the shape will come alive, okay? See how my fringe drops away because of my lengths? Again, I'm going directly into the hair. Can we do me a favour, Jake? Would you mind on the board just putting on the head sheet for me? Is that okay? Thank you. All right, with the fringe, I'm just going to take away all the fringe, so watch what I do very quickly. I'm going to use my mirror. So if you could film me, that would be good for everyone to see actually. Actually, Jake, do me a favour. Leave the live feed for 1 minute so we can show everybody what we're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the mirror, okay? And I'm basically, tilt the head back slightly. I'm going to visualise where I want it to be. And I'm basically going to cut away the fringe. Okay? I'm not focused on the detail of the line, just focus on the shape of the line. So the detail I can work on in a minute. Okay? And by using the mirror, what it enables me to do is it really enables me to see my shape from a distance. Okay? So I can see the suitability and I can see any kind of what the shape's going to look like when I step away from it. And I'm going to use a chipping technique to create a slightly more raw finish. Now this is a good thing to do to help you create your shape from a distance. Okay? Then spin it back around. Okay? And then visually refine it if you need to. Okay? So now what I'm doing is I'm using the chipping technique to soften the cutting line. And once I do this, I'll style it and I'm done. Do we have any, I'm not sure if you've got any, do we have any moulding clay in the salon? Yeah. Could I grab one? Is that all right? Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Grazie. Aristo. Arigato. I have to keep myself going. That's how I keep going. Okay. Then there's only one more thing I'm going to do. And that's break into the hair to remove some of the excess weight. So what you do with this one, you should do this. Let me show you. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you very much. So with this one, what you do is you comb all the hair down like this, okay? And then you have to try and basically control your stopping point, okay? And what you do is you point into the hair and you move back and forward constantly, okay? And what it does, it just softens the hair and it removes all the little lengths in there, yeah? So the key to not cutting the person is to understand distance. The more you understand distance, the more you can stop, okay? So make sure all the hair again is going in a natural position. Do not overextend the hair into the wrong position. Okay, I'll show you again. And what you do, when you cut hair, the only thing that should move is your thumb, which means that this muscle here should become the biggest muscle in your body. So guys, if you want to know how muscly I am, look at my thumb. Okay? This is the biggest muscle on my body, unfortunately. So, what you do is you only open and close your thumb. So this part of your hand needs to be sturdy. That part should not move. You shouldn't be kind of making little duck signs. Okay? So, the best way to study that is to rest your hand on your thigh and just practice doing that. Okay? Anyway, when I close my blade, if I close my blade as I go in like this, what happens is I take the root really short, but I leave the length on the outside. So I take away a lot of weight by doing it like that. If I close my blade as I leave the root dense, but I soften the tips. Okay? And the way to practice this technique, you can basically do it with a balloon. So what you should do is get a balloon, blow it up as big as you can, and then practice diving into the head so you'll know when to stop, basically, yeah? So the only reason I can do it and I can look at you is because I'm confident I know where the head is. And I've practiced it so many times, okay? So don't look at it and think, oh my God, he's going to cut her. It's only because I've practiced it, and you can do it too. There's no difference between me and you. And as soon as you understand that, you can become the best version of you, okay? Comb the hair to the neck. Just go into the shape. Comb the hair through. I do that once over everywhere, and I'm going to dress it and I'm done. Do you have any questions about anything we've spoken about tonight? I know I wasn't getting to ask a question, but I had to ask it, okay? Who thinks based on what I've been speaking about tonight, that starting an Allilon journey is something that maybe you could think about doing? Put your hand up. Okay. So, the goal behind tonight is to introduce you to who we are and what we do. If you're interested in maybe starting, we've got one in Vancouver in 2 weeks' time. No, in November or September?
September, I think.
Right, basically what you need to do is if you email info@alliloneducation.com, info@alliloneducation.com, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to let you know our dates and where we are. So I've got a date in New Jersey. I'm going to be in New Jersey in 2 weeks' time. And I'm also going to be in New York, doing a course in New York. And then I'm going to be in Toronto, doing a course in Toronto. So if you want to basically start the Allilon journey, feel free to email info@alliloneducation.com. Now when you're styling a haircut like this, my advice is don't style it. Okay? Don't try to make it look like something. Let the haircut do the work. Yeah? Get your product, run it through. Head down. Perfect, thank you. Run it through. Style the hair a little bit, but let it be rough, let it be expressive. Try not to mould the hair. I like it because it feels quite kind of bowly, and I think this young lady is beautiful, so it gives her this kind of sense of don't know, expansion, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. And I like the idea of showing off this is over comb, so I can work that away. So this is quite a cool little kind of crop, rocky crop kind of shape. It's quite a bold, strong fringe. I genuinely hope that you like it. Can I get all of the girls out, please? Ladies, if you want to come stand over here for me. Got a big bump. Okay, so if I run through the shapes quickly, this haircut you haven't seen me do yet. I actually did this on Hairbrained Live. For those of you who haven't been on Hairbrained, and Randy, where are you, mate? What do I need to type in?
Just type in Hairbrained on Facebook.
On Facebook?
Or, yeah, you can Google us. We're on Instagram. We have an app in app stores.
So I cut this live on Hairbrained about 2 hours ago, so you can actually watch me step by step cut it. Okay? Basically, it's a beautiful kind of little layered, sexy shape. It's something you could do tomorrow, but actually it's quite creative internally. There's lots of different types of examples and ways of cutting it. Do me a favour, just shake your head for me. Turn around for me. Shake your head again. You can see how the shape looks very classic. Yeah, and it's something you could definitely do tomorrow, but actually, when you know how I did it, it's a little bit more complicated than just. Yeah, we're going to get some talk about all the colours now. What's your name? Katie. Right, okay. So you've got my 3 looks. One's quite raw, quite aggressive, quite in your face, but I think visually, with the particular model, I think it really suits her. Okay. I've got something which is kind of in between, quite funky, but it has some graphic shapes to it. Can look quite classic, can look quite soft, beautiful little arced outlines. Yeah. And then I've got something which is very, very commercial, with lots of movement to it. Yeah. Clothes, guys, would you mind doing the whole thing that we talked about? If you give yourself some space, if you give yourself a little bit of space. So the idea behind the clothes are based on wiggle, okay? And if you look, as the girls keep changing their position, the body, even though the body's controlled movements, the actual material expresses itself, okay? So every time they move, it changes, the dynamics change, okay? And if you can imagine on stage, the right lights and stuff, they do, I must admit, the outfit's incredible. Now basically, the outfit itself is a square. It's done in a specific way by a great, very creative lady called Wendy in London. She's very creative as a person. I love working with her, and she designed it for us. And the idea behind this kind of material is that it has a life of its own. And every time, do me a favour, would you do this? Let me show you how to do that. See what happens? And it comes alive. I think it looks quite sexy, quite feminine, but it also looks quite rigid and quite controlled as well. It's really weird. It's got like a really beautiful life to itself. Okay. Thank you, ladies. What we're going to do, we're going to leave the girls here for you to come and take photos and get your fingers into the hair. Before we do that, I just want to bring your attention to something. This is how a whole course within itself can handle. It's called diagram training.